Hawking.
Coming up on Newswatch, the Athens Halloween block party returns tomorrow.
Plus, a new variation of the Omicron variant is responsible for most new COVID infections.
And in sports, a round one playoff matchup means a rematch for two conference opponents. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Andre Knowles.
And I'm Curtis Fader. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for the latest news impacting southeastern Ohio. Giant puppets and colorful characters will take the streets of Athens tomorrow, kicking off the Athens Halloween Block Party.
That's right, the Honey for the Heart Parade is a project put on by Passionworks Studio, a nonprofit organization that promotes social connection through making art. Passionworks uses repurposed materials to create art and encourage sustainability, creativity. Anyone is invited to participate in the parade. Simply show up to Passionworks Studio between 4 and 4:30 p.m. and choose a puppet or costume. The parade is scheduled for tomorrow at 5, and more information about the event and Passionworks Studios can be found at passionworks.org. The Honey for the Heart Parade is just one of the many events that will be going on at the Athens Halloween Block Party. Newswatch reporter Joe Collins has more on what you can do to make your block party experience a spooky good time.
First time since 2019, Court Street will be the site of the Athens Halloween Block Party. The event will take place from 1 to 10 p.m. on Saturday. While shops like Uptown Costumes and Spirit Halloween are giving customers a chance to buy or make a solid costume, the city is prepping Court Street for this year's festivities.
Court Street will be closed. There will be a number of different events taking place between 1 and 5 p.m. on Court Street, all of which are family-friendly events.
Now that you've got your Halloween costume, what are you going to do about parking and activities when you get to the block party? Well, I've got you covered there too.
The parking garage, will be open for people to park there, which has 500 plus parking spaces, so that'll be open.
The parking meters on Court Street will start being bagged around 4 a.m. Saturday morning, and there will be no parking on Court starting at 7 a.m. until after the block party concludes at 10 p.m. To get parking near Court Street, it's best to try for the parking meters on South College Street and East Union Street. Ohio University has also announced that certain university lots will be open for parking until 7 p.m. on Saturday. Parking lots at Payne Recreation Center, Baker Center, and Walter Hall will all be available. Additionally, the Athens County Fairgrounds will have parking for $20 from noon Friday until noon on Sunday. Once parked, be sure to try out some of the family-friendly services being offered, including face painting, scavenger hunts, trick-or-treating, and a parade.
There will be the Honey for the Heart Parade, which is wonderful. There's going to be other events that are put on by Arts, Parks, and Recreation that are costume related.
From 6 to 10 will be the adult theme section of the parade, featuring a number of musical acts headlined by DJ B-Funk. The teardown process will begin right after the block party ends at 10 p.m., and Court Street will officially reopen the next morning. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Joe Collins.
Now be careful, because any vehicles that are parked on Court Street after the street is shut down will be towed at the owner's expense. I will be walking.
Well, I'll probably be walking too. But meanwhile, the city of Wellston plans to build a new water treatment plant. The project will cost an estimated $19 million, with construction starting in January of 2024. The Vinton County Courier reports that the council approved the first of 3 readings that will allow Mayor Charlie Hudson to seek and grant loan funding. The funding could equal up to $19 million for the project, and Hudson says one of the existing plants is around 100 years old and the other is around 70 years old.
Good afternoon, Southeastern Ohio. I'm Newswatch forecaster Jacob Van Cleve. Athens today, you just saw those conditions that were just great, those fall-like temperatures, and currently you have temperatures at 63 degrees. Now Athens, your skies are cooling overnight, and you also see those clouds will also start to fade away. Now, why is that? Well, Athens, you did notice that you have those clouds early this morning, and that was associated with that little low pressure system and those upper level clouds that were in the region. Now, throughout the day, you saw high pressure build in the region, and that high pressure did fade those clouds and push them out to the east, and you saw that high pressure dominate, clear skies, cooler conditions, and then that sunshine was throughout the day. Now, What's going on across the country, you can see in the southwestern portion of the country, you do notice a little bit of clouds forming, and it's also building as the day progressed. Now those clouds are associated with the low pressure system that we do expect to slowly form and bring a lot of rain across the country, and do expect that to come to our part of the country as the days do progress. Now, this is the rain on the radar itself. You notice Athens, nothing's going on, clear skies. That is to be expected with that high pressure in the region. But the rain itself that is in the southwest portion of the country, that is eventually going to work its way here, and it is going to bring us some rain for our Halloween weekend. Now, beyond that, Athens today, those high pressure or high temperatures today were a high of 64 degrees. You had those mostly sunny skies, and you had the low of 37 degrees. Now, Athens, those conditions are going to be favorable for the next couple of days, but I will talk more about when that could change in my full forecast later in today's show. That's all I have for first weather. Back to you, Curtis.
Looking forward to hearing that, Jacob. Thank you. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Nan Whaley says the election will determine whether significant gun safety measures will be adopted in Ohio. There are several measures related to guns that the Republican-dominated state legislature will take up in its lame duck session after the November election. State House correspondent Joe Ingles is going after Governor DeWine for not fighting hard enough against members of his party in the Ohio legislature to reduce gun violence. DeWine proposed 17-point gun safety plan after the Dayton mass shooting in 2019 that included expanded background checks and increased power for courts to seize firearms. But his fellow Republicans in the legislature failed to pass that plan. Since, DeWine has signed bills into law that have made it easier for people to carry guns in Ohio.
A federal grand jury chooses to indict 2 former Pike County Sheriff Office employees for crimes that violate civil rights. 47-year-old Jeremy Mooney of Piketon and 46-year-old William Stansbury Jr. of Chillicothe are being charged with crimes related to the use of excessive force. According to the indictment, Mooney is accused of repeatedly using pepper spray and striking the victim while the victim was restrained. Now for Stansbury, he's being charged with violating the victim's constitutional rights by deliberately failing to stop Mooney's actions. If convicted, both men face a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. When we come back, why the new COVID variant is being called the Scrabble variant. And plus, with Oxford High School gunman Ethan Crumbley's parents are being charged with these stories and more when we return.
An ancient mystery. Who created the Nazca lines and why? Can recent discoveries and modern science reveal clues?
We let AI learn from these famous geoglyphs.
We do archaeology without digging.
We're connected to our ancestors, the past, the present, and the future.
Nazca Desert Mystery on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
On Finding Your Roots, actors Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh my goodness, I did not know that.
Scarlett Johansson.
We are all a product of this big melting pot.
And chef Lydia Bastianich.
It was a scary time.
Ancestors who fled.
It must have been hell.
Escaped.
That border really meant a division.
And took a chance.
Your father's story is a miracle.
He's my hero.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead, hieroglyphics, mysterious symbols from the ancient past.
For the ancient Egyptians, the word was incredibly powerful.
But who inscribed the texts that help us understand ancient Egypt?
These hieroglyphs, who painted them, I've got to get to know him.
Decoding hieroglyphics on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
They make an unmistakable sound. But woodpeckers are incredibly varied. And these charismatic birds drum in almost every forest, everywhere in the world. Think you know the woodpecker? Think again. This is the whole story.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
A host of new sub-lineages of the Omicron BA.5 subvariant are now becoming responsible for most new COVID-19 infections in the U.S., according to the CDC. The new sub-lineages are offshoots of BA4 and 5. They are called Scrabble variants because they contain letters like X and Q that receive high scores in the game of Scrabble. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 new COVID infections in the nation are accounted by these two strands. These are just a few of the new variants that are accounting to the total number of nationwide COVID cases. The Red Cross says some people worry about giving blood after getting vaccinated for flu or COVID-19. But now the organization wants to set the record straight. Mandy Gaither has more on the need for blood donations and why there's a concern for blood supplies as we head deeper into fall and winter.
The temperatures are dropping and respiratory illnesses are on the rise.
That really challenges the blood supply because whatever is affecting the population is affecting our donors.
Blood can't be stockpiled, so it's always needed. The Red Cross says it's especially vital now to help avoid a shortage, but the organization says many people think if they get vaccinated, they're not eligible to donate blood. That's not true.
There are no deferrals for either the flu or the COVID vaccines or boosters. We just ask that the donors be healthy and well with no symptoms the day that they come to donate.
Blood and platelets are needed throughout the year. The Red Cross says 1 in 7 people going to the hospital will need a transfusion. Donations are used to help people through a trauma, surgery, during labor and delivery, and it can be used for cancer patients and more. Supplies can also be impacted by fewer people being able to donate over the holidays or because of severe weather.
It's really a great time to give back to the community because, donating blood does save lives.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
If you're interested in giving blood, you can make an appointment on the Red Cross Blood Donor app or their website at redcrossblood.org or by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. You can also track where your blood donation went on their app to see how you've helped another person.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, was attacked at their home in San Francisco this morning. Police says the suspect, David DePape, used a hammer to hit Pelosi. Paul Pelosi, who is 82 years old, was taken into surgery and is expected to make a full recovery. A source briefed on the attack says the man was searching for the House Speaker and confronted her husband, asking where his wife was. DePape reportedly tried to tie Pelosi up until she got home, but she was in Washington at the time. A spokesman for the Speaker said the attacker is in custody and a motive is being investigated. The U.S. Capitol Police says that they're assisting the FBI and the San Francisco Police with a joint investigation. The parents of the gunman responsible for the shooting at a high school in Oxford, Michigan, appeared in court for a pretrial hearing today. This comes just days after their son Ethan Crumbley pleaded guilty to killing 4 people and injuring 7 others in the November 30th shooting. Jennifer and James Crumbley, each charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, have pleaded not guilty. They are accused of giving their son easy access to a gun and ignoring his threatening signs. A forensic psychologist testified today that mass shooters have a slow build towards violence over time and they give off many warning signs. Prosecutors are seeking to introduce future trial testimony from expert witnesses in an attempt to show the shooting could have been prevented with proper intervention.
6 individuals are taken to a hospital after a shooting at a Pittsburgh church today. At least half a dozen people have been taken into medical treatment after gunshots were fired at a Pittsburgh church. Authorities say officers were called to the Destiny of Faith Church in the Brighton Heights area of the city for reports of gunshots. The church was holding a funeral service at the time when shots were fired. According to officials of one hospital network, 6 people from the scene were taken to the hospital for treatment. However, no details on the injuries or victims' conditions have been released. Police are continuing to investigate the shooting, and there is no word if they have a possible suspect. What Elon Musk plans to do as the new owner of Twitter, that story's still ahead.
And it's the calm before the storm. How your Halloween weekend can be impacted with the weather incoming. More on that when Newswatch returns. In the meantime, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter.
On Secrets of the Dead, hieroglyphics, mysterious symbols from the ancient past.
For the ancient Egyptians, the word was incredibly powerful.
But who inscribed the texts that help us understand ancient Egypt?
These hieroglyphs, who painted them, I've got to get to know him.
Decoding hieroglyphics on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
On Finding Your Roots, actors Lupita Nyong'o,
Oh my goodness! I did not know that.
Scarlett Johansson,
We are all a product of this big melting pot.
and chef Lydia Bastianich.
It was a scary time.
Ancestors who fled,
It must have been hell.
escaped,
That border really meant a division.
and took a chance.
Your father's story is a miracle.
He's my hero.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Next time on The War, the Battle of the Bulge.
And as I say, when they fired the first round, it darn near hit me.
Iwo Jima,
I always looked around and wondered now, how many men am I going to lose?
and fire rains on Japan.
They burn out a third of the whole area, and we knew that Americans were getting closer.
Part 6 of The War.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
An ancient mystery. Who created the Nazca lines and why? Can recent discoveries and modern science reveal clues?
We let AI learn from these famous geoglyphs.
We do archaeology without digging.
We're connected to our ancestors, the past, the present, and the future.
Nazca Desert Mystery on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Watch forecaster Jacob Van Cleve. Athens, as I mentioned before, you have that high pressure that's moved into the region, and you're going to be pushing these upper level clouds out and towards the east. Now you do see behind through the last 24 hours that clouds have formed away from a region, and you just have clear skies. Now that was associated with that high pressure system that is building in the region and brought us our clear skies today, and do expect that to bring those clear skies into tomorrow. Now the area of concern here is in the southwestern portion of the state. You do see those clouds forming and continuing to build as we will have rain forming in that region. That rain will eventually work its way towards our region. I'll talk more about that in a second. In the meantime, we're looking at Athens today. Athens, your temperatures were at a high of 64 degrees and you had mostly sunny skies. Again, that's associated with that high pressure system building in the region, making those clouds move away and out of the region and leaving us for a great weekend when it comes to weather. Now Athens tonight, those temperatures are expected to drop from 37, so those having some fun festivities tonight, just be prepared for that. Now, beyond Athens, you saw temperatures in Flemingsburg, 66 degrees, Huntington, 66, and Charleston, 64 degrees. Parkersburg, you had temperatures of 64 degrees, and in Lancaster, you had temperatures at a high of 63 degrees. Now, like I mentioned before, Athens tonight, you're expecting those temperatures to drop down to 37 degrees, and you will have those mostly clear skies. So what does that mean? Well, with the high pressure, do expect a little bit of wind, so it's going to feel a little bit colder than 37, so do be prepared for that. Now, Athens, when we look at the region itself, you can see at the regional radar, nothing going on in Athens, but there's that rain in the bottom southwest portion of the state. Now, that rain, like I did mention, is going to slowly move into our region, so let's talk a little bit more about that. Athens tomorrow, you do see this high pressure above us here, and you have that dry line that is moving towards the southeast of us and that low building with the rain following behind. Athens tomorrow, you have a high of 67 degrees, low of 40 degrees, and mostly sunny skies, again with that high pressure sitting in the region, but eventually that's going to funnel more towards the east of us. Now with that high pressure there, funneling more east, that low building and slowly working its way into the region, that'll move into tomorrow, or Sunday, my apologies, and it'll be even stronger with that occluded front, just meaning that it is a powerful storm, it's at its maximum intensity, and that rain will eventually funnel into our region as we move into Saturday or Sunday night and then Monday itself. Now, Athens, your weekend for a Halloween weekend. Friday and Saturday are just beautiful, so enjoy your festivities as you can as we move into Sunday and Monday. You have those rain chances with that front moving into the region, bringing those rain and ruining Halloween plans. Now, not entirely ruined as we move into Tuesday. You will see those conditions clear up great for the Bobcats football game against Buffalo with a high of 67 and a low of 43. Now, as the week remains, you'll see those temperatures slowly increase and those lows drop a little bit. And then Friday, you'll see just beautiful conditions for fall with a high of 70, low of 51. That's all I have for full weather. Back to you, Curtis.
Thank you so much, Jacob. After acquiring Twitter for $44 billion, today was Elon Musk's first day as the owner of the social media platform. Amy Kiley has more on the purchase and what it could mean for users.
I think it's very important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech.
It's official. Elon Musk now owns Twitter, and he's already fired 3 top executives. That's according to 2 sources familiar with the decision. So what does that mean for users? The answer could start with money.
Musk is paying a pretty hefty price.
About $44 billion to be precise. The owner of Tesla and SpaceX completed the purchase last night.
Twitter has challenges as a growth platform. That's why there's no second bidder.
Before the final deal, analyst Dan Ives speculated on how Musk could earn back his money. He says Twitter might leverage advertising and could become a subscription service. Users also might notice this difference.
We want to be just very reluctant to delete things, just be very cautious with permanent bans. Timeouts, I think, are better.
Musk tweeted a statement saying he still plans to impose consequences on people who misuse the platform, but it's not clear what that means.
When he says he believes in free speech, does he take care of that? Does he get rid of the N-word that I'm often called?
When it comes to Twitter bans, some wonder about one user in particular.
Will Donald Trump come back?
That remains to be seen. I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Well, you know how the old saying goes, on Fridays there's nothing better than Friday Night Lights and Gridiron Glory.
That's right, Gridiron Glory host Jacob Mata is out at Green High School tonight with a preview of all things high school football. How long till kickoff, Jacob?
Curtis and Andre, we're around 10 minutes away from kickoff here in Green High School in Franklin Furnace. I'll give you guys the lowdown on the Gridiron Glory game of the week, as well as some other playoff games in our coverage. It's a look at football around the 740 right after the break.
Next time on The War, the Battle of the Bulge.
And as I said, when they fired the first round, it darn near hit me.
Iwo Jima.
I always looked around and wondered now, how many men am I going to lose?
And fire rains on Japan.
They burn out a third of the whole area, and we knew that Americans were getting closer.
Part 6 of The War.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
They make an unmistakable sound. But woodpeckers are incredibly varied. And these charismatic birds drum in almost every forest, everywhere in the world. Think you know the woodpecker? Think again. This is the whole story.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
An ancient mystery. Who created the Nazca Lines and why? Can recent discoveries and modern science reveal clues?
We let AI learn from these famous geoglyphs.
We do archaeology without digging.
We're connected to our ancestors, the past, the present, and the future.
Nazca Desert Mystery on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead, hieroglyphics, mysterious symbols from the ancient past.
For the ancient Egyptians, the word was incredibly powerful.
But who inscribed the text that help us understand ancient Egypt?
These hieroglyphs, who painted them, I've got to get to know him.
Decoding hieroglyphics on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome back. We're going to go right back to Jacob. What can we expect for Friday Night Football this week?
Guys, you can expect a whole lot of action because now it's win or go home. It's playoff time in the 740, and kickoff is about 5 minutes away, and it's an action-packed week. I'm here at our Gridiron Glory Game of the Week, where the Notre Dame Titans have traveled to try to defeat the Green Bobcats one more time this season. Green met Notre Dame in Week 7 of the regular season, where they were handed their first loss of the season. After that loss, Green went on to drop 3 more consecutive games, going from 6-0, finishing the season 6-4. Green is led by running back Nathaniel Brannigan, who has rushed for over 1,000 yards this season. He is the engine of that offense. Green needs to find a way to beat the Titans the second time around in order to move on in the playoffs, but it's going to be tough. Like I said, the Titans, they beat the Bobcats once already, so they should be able to do it again, but it's hard to beat a team twice. They ended the season on a loss after beating Green. They went on to win 2 more games, and they ended up finishing 5-5. That game 4 weeks ago came down to the final drive, and on 4th and 18, the Titans intercepted the Bobcats' pass to seal the game. We could see another game come down to the wire tonight. On paper, these teams are pretty evenly matched, but this is the playoffs, so it will come down to whoever wants it more. For more on that matchup, as well as the games we're covering this week, tune into Gridiron Glory at 11:30 p.m. tonight on WOUB. The Shadyside Tigers will make their way to Meigs to take on the Eastern Eagles. The Eastern has a chance to win the first home playoff game ever in Meigs County. Shadyside is having a down year, but they have been a powerhouse in the past. The Eagles can't look past them on to the next round. Licking Valley travels to Gallia Academy to try to upset the Blue Devils. Both of these teams play to the level of their competition, so it should be an even matchup. Both teams are hot right now, coming off wins, especially the Panthers, who just beat Licking Heights. The New Lexington Panthers host the Bishop Hartley Hawks. The Panthers are going to be tested in this one on both sides of the ball. The Hawks are just 4-6, but they've had a tough schedule this year. New Lex's offense is going to have to fire on all cylinders during this matchup. The Vinton County Vikings travel to Columbus East to take on the Tigers in Region 15. Per Fantastic50.net, this has the chance to be a huge upset, as the Vikings are the 13 seed and the Tigers are the 3 seed, and they are favored by just 4 points. The Cambridge Bobcats are on the road against the Logan Elm Braves. The Braves dropped just 2 games this season to undefeated Zane Trace and the Bloom Carroll Bulldogs. But don't count out the Bobcats and Caden Moore. With him at quarterback, they could make a big run in Region 15. The Huntington Huntsmen are going down the road to take on the Paint Valley Bearcats, trying to win their first ever playoff game. The Huntsmen and the Bearcats met once in the regular season, and Huntington lost by just 12 points. So we could be in for another close game. There's going to be so much to talk about, so don't change the channel. Gridiron Glory airs tonight at 11:30 p.m. and tomorrow on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. only on WOUB. For now, guys, I'll throw it back to you in studio.
We'll be sure to watch. Now, thanks, Jacob. We're going to go to the other Jacob with a look at your final weather.
Yes, thank you, guys. Those temperatures tonight, you will notice that 37-degree low. It's going to be nice and cool, so do bring those jackets out with you if you do plan on going out tonight. Mostly clear skies associated with that high-pressure system, which is pushing those clouds outside of our region. Now, Athens, tomorrow you'll see a high of 67 degrees, low of 40 degrees, and mostly sunny skies, again because of that high-pressure system. Now, the area of concern is that low-pressure system to the southwest, bringing that rain to our region, and that's what the cause of concern is for this weekend with rain and as for your Halloween day on Monday. Now, throughout the rest of the week, do expect those conditions to clear up and be quite nice with your fall-like conditions, leaving you Friday with a high of 71 degrees and a low of 51 degrees. Thank you.
Thanks, Jacob. Just in time for Halloween, today is National Chocolate Day. Time to celebrate one of the world's favorite tastes. The history of chocolate goes back about 2,500 years. Aztecs were the first to make it. It comes from fermented and roasted cocoa seeds found in Mexico and Central and South America. Chocolate has many different iterations, including unsweet, milk, white, and dark. Celebrate today by indulging in your favorite chocolate treats. Now, I don't think people will have issues with indulging with that because it's almost Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Halloween, but wait, what? What are they selling?
I don't know.
Chocolates. I got the reference.
I don't know what this is.
I don't know about you guys, but the Whoppers were always at the bottom of my Halloween basket when I was a kid.
And the Tootsie Rolls. Those are the chocolates that no one wants.
No, I always left those alone too.
Yeah, and the Dum Dums are always down there.
Is it kind of scary to say I don't like chocolate that much? I
don't like chocolate.
I gave it all to my sister. She got double trouble, so it was perfect for her for Halloween.
I don't like chocolate cake, but some chocolates I like. Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Andre Knowles.
And I'm Curtis Fader. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.